Hello, it's Diane. I have 3 Irish journals to share with you today, and these will all be listed in my Etsy shop. I had no intention of making St. Patrick's journals, but when I purchased a bag of handkerchiefs and doilies and things, this sheer shamrock handkerchief was in the bag, and it was just too beautiful to not use. And also this handkerchief with the green border. It isn't specifically St. Patrick's or Irish, but when I saw this one and then this green one clicked, and then there was another green one, just this gingham. So I decided that I would make some journals, and so I'm going to share them with you today. I don't know how many videos it will take, but we'll just go right ahead and start. I used a lot of paper from this pad, My Mind's Eye. The paper pad with 180 sheets, and it's various My Mind's Eye collections, and I highly recommend this pad. It is fabulous. I had one of the pads that had, well, it doesn't really matter, but one of my favorite collections, and I made a smash book for myself with it, and it had this paper, and I keep going past it, this paper, and anyway, so I know it's from different collections. So I found a lot of good ones to use for these Irish journals. Now this one is one of the fabric and lace cover journals that I like to make. It is green cardstock covered with the beautiful sheer handkerchief, and I cut it down the middle and then put it together because it was too wide for the cardstock. It has a 1/2 inch spine, so it measures 5 by 8.5, I think. And so then I had to cut off the bottom too, and I put this beautiful, beautiful vintage crocheted lace that came off around a doily. And that's the last of that lace that I have. A heart crocheted doily. There's a little bit of lace here and a little bit of sheer ribbon and some silk ribbon here. And of course this is a printable. And then this is a piece that came off of a pillow sham with some black gingham ribbon, and then this is a vintage piece that I found at a secondhand shop. And there's a piece of tea-dyed lace there. So this one just has one signature. I forgot to count the pages, but it'll be in the listing. And there's a polka dotted ribbon to tie it closed. I went online and found a lot of St. Patrick's images, tags and vintage postcard images and things like that. So that's what I used for decorating the book. And I had a few green library pockets, so I used that. This is one of the printables. This is some coffee dyed cheesecloth, and then I cut out some shamrocks with my Cricut. I covered up where I attached the ribbon because I forgot to do it when I put the cover together. So I just covered it up with half a rosette, and it's on the back also, like that. There's some satin ribbon, like a 1/4 inch satin ribbon that goes all the way around the cover. And then I have this vintage Quizmo card. It's like a bingo, but it was a math game, and it's vintage. And so I put that on as a pocket. There's a little bit of fabric here and some lace, and an inventory tag with this eyelash trim from Denise's shop, A Tattered Dream, and Let Aaron Remember. And all of the, well, this one, I found this printable online, and it had the back too, so I printed them both and then stitched it together. All of the rest of them are stitched coffee dyed paper. I purchased this Shoe Fair tag. It's a blue one, and I got some, a green one, and I got some blue ones also. And I know I got some from the paper basket, and I can't remember which color, and I can't remember the name of the shop where I got the other one, because I think it was a new shop for me. But anyway, the green ones came just in time to be included in this book. And this is a stamp that I have, and then just a little tag. and those are stitched together to form this little pocket. There's a stamp up there, and I edge punched the paper. And this is my printer paper. I dyed with Kool-Aid, except it wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Hawaiian Punch or something. I couldn't find green Kool-Aid, and it was I don't remember the flavor, but it was supposed to be green, but it was very, very pale. And so I added a little bit of green food coloring and got a better color. And there's some mushrooms here, ledger paper that was also dyed in the green, and a piece of fabric and a little green rickrack that are stitched on there as a tab. A guest check, they're green, and gathered fabric and a printable tag. There's a stamp down there. This is a pocket that I collaged together with a green dyed doily. It's very pale. It doesn't show up very green. I think I did that before I added the food coloring. There's one of my shamrocks, a little scrap of the paper, and a flinch card that was green, and that's vintage. And this is a merchandise bag from Denise's shop. Tucked inside is one of the postcard images, and then inside the bag is another postcard image. And there's another guest check with some green rickrack and a shamrock. Here's one of the doilies. And in one of my recent videos, I showed that I used alcohol inks to color my paper clips, and this time, of course, I did them in green. There's a doily, there's a little scrap of that handkerchief that I put on the cover, and then this is from this baggie I have of vintage game pieces. They came out of vintage bingo games that I picked up. And as you can see, most of them are red because one of the games had all red and then one had various colors. So I used some of them in this book. Here's a little playing card that was green. And the back. And I just stitched a tag with a little heart on it. Now this is from a songbook, and this is not an Irish song, it's actually Mozart's Magic Flute, and it did the story and illustrations and everything along with some of the music in the back of this songbook. But the illustrations were green and fanciful looking, and so I thought it was good for a St. Patrick's book. Here is a paint chip with, I punched a hole in the top and put a reinforcement and some seam binding, and then on the back I put this cute little tag. But you can journal on this side. I think I had it on this side. And then I like this paint chip that says Want Green, because I use all different shades of green in this book. This is one of the papers that came off out of that pad that was very appropriate. It looks like a magical garden. Excuse me, it's got mushrooms and it just looks fanciful. I put a little bit of vintage bias tape on the edge of that paint chip, and there's an alterations tag and another postcard. This one has a fabric and a fabric collage actually, and there's some coffee dyed lace and some vintage rickrack and some mushroom stamped at the bottom. This flips up so you can journal under it. Here's a piece of music that is an Irish folk tune, and this came out of a vintage book. I just put some washi tape on to decorate. Put a list here because this side was not an Irish song, so I covered this side up, and it's got a place for journaling and a little pocket here with a little postcard or index card. There's a stamp there, stamped in green. Here's another piece of the handkerchief and some green lace. And there's some white fabric underneath and a little piece of index card. Here's the other side of the Magic Flute paper, and there's another little pocket here with a vintage bridge score sheet inside. There's a piece of lace along the bottom here. Here's the other side of the merchandise bag. This is a little journaling tag. I don't know where I got them, but it's flocked. I don't know if somebody sent them to me or if I found them somewhere. I'm thinking somebody must have sent them to me. Anyway, if it was you, thank you. Here's a printable and a little tag there. There's an adorable little girl stitched to scrapbook paper. card. This is one of the green doilies. This one turned out a better green. And just a green shape and a little cardstock sticker that I glued on. Some eyelet trim, and here is more of the little game pieces. I chose the colors that went with this paper. I didn't want to cover up this paper, but I figured there's space within these circles to journal something on, so you can do that if you'd like. Ledger paper with, again, a fabric tab and rip wrap. Here's a wider piece of vintage bias tape. I just stitched it up there as a decoration with some green stitching. And then another index card with a little sticker that says wishes and a little shamrock. I guess I'll do 3 different videos for these journals because I'm at 11 minutes here. So stay tuned for the next journal. Thank you.